We are live. I hope. We'll soon find out. Live. Yes, we are. I can see myself. I can hear my heavy breathing on the mic. That's a good sign. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We had earlier on someone called Mab or MAB posted a thumbs up. Thanks, Mab. And See How We Are Living is here. Hi, Ben. I just saw your Facebook post. So will he be the disclosure Pope? Maybe. We'll go into that this evening. Hello, Pat Riot. How are you? Welcome. Glad you're here. Hopefully we'll have some more people joining us as we go along. I'll just put my glasses on so it's easier to see what everyone's saying. That's it. Yes, the Pope has arrived. There is a new Pope. Just check my notes. Okay. Right, here we go. Obviously, we're going to come back to St. Malachi this evening, aren't we? I keep coming back to that, but yeah. Hello, Rhiannon. How are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining. I sent an email to. Sweeps Fox doesn't get the bloody. He doesn't get. Oh, I need to send one on Discord as well. I need to send a link on Discord. Where is it? I'll go back to the page. Here we go. Because I know someone wants to join me on Discord. I'll go back to the page. Unless he finds it first. Let's have a look. Here we go. Discord. All right, here we go. I'll just let him know because. Anyway, I hope everyone's all right. I hope everyone's well. Hope you enjoyed the UFO disclosure video. It was quite good. It was good fun making that. I was so tired though. It probably wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, and I'm going to come back to it because I'm going to do another reply video to Steve mumbling. I'll just put this link here. I'll just put here live stream. There we go. I should share it as well. I should also share it on my Discord page, Hapanmo TV Discord page as well. There we go. There we go. So I'll put it on there like that. There we go. So people can find it. There we go. All right, then. Who else is here? Rhiannon says, Ben, did they choose a young woke pope so they don't have to worry about replacing him for a long time? Yes, basically. He is young. As popes go, he's young for a pope. He's the youngest for several decades, I think. And he's probably going to be around a while, yeah. Because they tend to, they tend to live quite a long time, popes. And generally, I find that people in religious orders, and it's interesting, this is an interesting fact. I know this from having met a couple of nuns in my time. People in religious orders, we always think of them being very, very solemn and joyless and sitting around going, whoa, all the time. But people in religious orders of all kinds actually have a very high quality of life. They tend to score high on the happiness, the gross happiness index. And they tend to live quite healthy lives. They tend to be quite optimistic, and therefore they have a zest for life, and they tend to live a long time. See how you're living? He's 69. So I'll tell you what, while we're waiting for people to gather, let's just watch how it happens, shall we? Let's just watch him. Let's just watch his, what's the word? Watch his announcement, etc. Here we go. Oh, we wait for the troops to gather. Here we go.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website on Wix.
Skip button, yeah.
And this we also saw during the funeral of Pope Francis.
Don't give me a copyright strike for this, for fuck's sake. It's fair use.
So many people.
This is the announcer. He speaks in Latin. He's looking at me. He's looking, thinking, thank God that's over. Someone said, "Do you hear someone shout, Viva Papa?" That's Italian. Long live the Pope.
Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus papam. Eminentissimum, ac reverendissimum Dominum, Dominum
I don't know what any of this
Robertum
means.
Franciscum, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae, Cardinalem Prevost.
Prevost, that's his name.
Qui sibi nomen imposuit Leonem decimum quartum.
It's people from all over the world. See, they've all see all the flags there. Now we've got to wait. There, then you see him appear. Here's his fanboys. There's the cardinals going out on the side there. Grand, isn't it? That's the papal crest. Well, it's his crest, but yeah, each pope has its own kind of. Each pope has his own kind of coat of arms, but there's like the papal. See, his keys. You see, the keys are a big feature. Who's the weird guy in the middle there? Do you see? I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for this, but why these vestments are like all have coded messages in them. This is bloke here looks like some kind of satanic infiltrator. He's the gatecrasher from the Church of Satan, I reckon. Coming from a Catholic family, you know, I understand this kind of the feeling of being. There's a part of me that's never really lapsed, and maybe like a lot of other ex-Catholics or other ex-religious people are the same. I don't know, but there we go. It's quite something. I mean, the Pope is possibly the most powerful man on earth. I mean, if you define power as his ability to influence and win hearts and minds, definitely. It's not a political office, but then neither is the King of England. But you know, he's very, very, very powerful. He's got a camera like mine. That guy. He's a Franciscan monk, I think. He's got like the brown sort of the Capuchin brown. They're known as the Capuchins. That's why the coffee is called cappuccino, because it's got that color. It's that color. Get on with it. Video. Here we go. Let's go into a different video. Here we go. This is it. I'll skip through some of this. This is 37 minutes. I won't go through all of this, but I'll skip through some of it.
Cardinal Parolin, sure.
Here we go.
We've seen that now, haven't we? We've seen all this.
Imagery of all those cardinals there, smiling and looking.
Great dialogue, a man of great openness, a man of great balance, and he's the
Keep the train on.
Oh, this is him.
What do you mean?
Guy.
Copal, who is in the
Spread through. Who is this person?
This is an but questions about us
personally.
Where is he then? Well, the Americans, they love it because it's the first American Pope.
Francis Prevost has chosen the name Pope Leo XIV.
Now it's interesting to compare the way they're dressed, because they all wear the papal vestments. There's a special tailor in Rome that makes them. They have to have different sizes there, just because they don't know who's going to be popes. They have a whole array of sizes, so all these have to be reproduced in different sizes. He's dressed in like the white. All popes wear white. If you remember, Francis was just in a simple cassock and skull cap. If you remember his inauguration, he just wore the simple white cassock, which is like the casual wear. Benedict was in the full regalia with like a mitre and everything. He looked really, really grand. Leo has gone for like the halfway house. He's got this purple thing on above him. I don't know what that's called. A surplice, I think. And there's the stole. This is called a stole, this sort of scarf thing. It looks a bit Freemasonic, actually. And he's got the simple skull cap on him. Funny enough, that guy there looks just like Stanley Tucci's character in the Conclave movie. Let's go forward to when he starts.
Entrasse nello
There we go.
fratelli, sorelle carissime.
He speaks in Italian, so there's not much. I'm interested to know, actually, if any of you have watched Conclave, since I did my roving review of it, because it's a good movie. I mean, I almost got it again on Amazon. I'm not quite. You can get it for a few quid on Amazon. Obviously, it's very topical, so a lot of people are watching it. Surprisingly exciting film, considering the action consists almost entirely of men in dresses talking in low voices in corridors. And of course, as I said, the ending is really quite absurd and not very well written. The characterization breaks down, but it's kind of unintentional comedy, I think. But it's worth watching, Conclave. It's very informative about how this whole process works.
La pace sia con tutti voi.
Look at this, they do that at the football, don't they? Oh, the camera's on me, look!
Fratelli, sorelle carissimi, questo è il primo saluto del Cristo risorto, il buon pastore che ha dato la vita per il gregge di Dio. Anch'io vorrei che questo saluto di pace entrasse in Roma.
Who was blessing Rome.
Oh, there was a translation. Damn, sod the ads. I don't speak Italian. I don't know if any of you guys do, but yeah, let's just go through your comments here. I know a few more of you have turned up, which is great. Welcome, all of you. Yes. Leon, do you think there will ever be a future pope with a head of hair? I hope not, man. Baldies are cool, man. Baldies are cool. It's like watching the devil. Leo the 14th. That's right. That's what he is. I'll go into the reason he's given himself a name for that reason. Very often, popes will name themselves after previous popes because they sort of look up to them as mentors. Hello, Plastic Pyramid. First time watching a live stream. Welcome. Glad you made it. Hello, Dark Corners. How are you? Yeah, the crimson. It is kind of weird, isn't it? That red is a color that they use so much. It's the color of the cardinals. They all wear red. Yeah. And in this case, it's kind of purple, isn't it? Sam says, read the parable of the two roads. These people are being deceived. All right. Hello, Welsh Ripper. Who's this Muppet now? Yeah, we'll go into that. Who else is here? Welcome. The Omen 4. Oh, we'll go into omens. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bobby the Blind Beagle Terrier. Satanic Saturn worshippers. You've been watching your David Icke, haven't you? I thought the Jews wore skull caps. They do. It's called a kippah or a yarmulke, and it's very similar. And I don't know why. But obviously, like Christian priests wear it as well. It's hello, Vaping Cat. That's a good name. It was quite beautifully shot, cinematography-wise. Yeah, they've had a lot of time, I think, to set up all the camera angles, I think. Rhiannon, he must feel a bit awkward standing there with thousands of people staring at him. Well, I know how that feels because it's happening right now, isn't it? I don't believe I've only got 19 viewers. That's bloody that's YouTube. That's YouTube messing with my stats again. Sam Robotton. Old men rule the world. Old white men. Actually, there was a chance. There was a chance that they would have a black pope this time because I mean, Francis appointed a load of cardinals. Now, Prevost is one of the people he appointed, so he's kind of a successor. There's more cardinals from Africa than ever before, and you can imagine all the wokies would be going, "Oh, we got a black pope." You know, if we ever had one of the black popes, if any of these Africans ever became pope, and if you remember from the previous videos I've done on this subject, there was a chance where I listed a few of the ones from Africa who were actually in the running, who are papabile, as they say. Papabile is an Italian word which can't really be translated. It means eligible to become pope, but you see, the wokies would be faced with a bit of a dilemma, you see, because the African ones tend to be the most sort of hardline fire and brimstone types. Very different to this guy. Leon says, nothing wrong with a baldy, but it'd be nice to have a bit of a papal change now and again. They're all bald. Well, yeah, it would be interesting, wouldn't it, if there was one who had a hairstyle like your fella. I've never shown him on camera, but Rhiannon's partner has... a hairstyle which literally the opposite of mine. Oh, Vaping Cat says you meant the movie. Oh, the Conclave movie. You've seen it, right? Yeah. Welsh Ripper, give me the Monet, and they can stare at me. The painting. Oh, DC says YouTube unsubscribed me from your channel. I almost didn't catch this the live. Oh, not you as well. Bloody bad. Bloody hell. That's This is happening so often. I mean, I sent a link to Sweet Fox. I hope he gets it. Wasn't this guy's mum Creole? I think if you mean, was he mixed race? I don't know. We'll go into his bio in a minute, actually. We'll go into that, yeah. Neil Peel, hello. Let's hope this Pope lasts longer than 33 days. Well, yeah, I mean, depends on politics and everything, you know. But, I mean, it's always possible he might end up like the first John Paul I. That is 33 days in office. Yeah, 33 days as Pope, and then he ended up. I think it was a heart attack, wasn't it? Probably a 9mm heart attack in the back of his head. Yeah, but yeah, popes have. I mean, it's historically popes have been murdered. I mean, they've been assassinated. Yeah, definitely. Let's have a rocker pope. Yeah. Someone who just gets an electric guitar out instead of having all these Gregorian chants. Oh, Sam says, I have the Conclave book by Harris. Oh, right, yes, it's based on a book. That's right. Sped run that shit, says Vaping Cat. So I don't know what you mean there. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail about the conclave. I talked about the details of how the conclave worked several times, including the conclave movie. Hello, Tina. Pretty in pretty in pink. you left that out. We should do the notice comments, shouldn't we? Yeah, do the notice comments. Yeah, before I always forget those, don't I? MAB. I always said MAB said thumbs up in the live chat. Art's channel said the Antichrist has arrived, and Lab Based said underneath, didn't they say that about Pope Benedict too? I don't know, Lab Based, but I know Pope Benedict was extraordinary. I mean, he was not popular. I mean, I think it's got a lot to do with superficiality, because he was a very ugly man. He looked evil. He looked like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. Many people like comparing the two. And of course, he dressed up in the full regalia with a mitre and everything, rather like a character in this book I've just read, called the Third Secret. There's this bad guy who becomes Pope in it. It's very interesting. And he had the mitre, he had the full regalia, and he went out and he went like that. Pope Benedict went like that, Benedict XVI. He raised his fists above his head and he said, yeah. He didn't like bless anyone or wave like Prevost just did. He just went, yeah. And he of course abdicated, which is very rare. And another blonde says, pretty in pink. Yes. Pretty in pink. Isn't she? That was a song, wasn't it? That was a song. Oh, right, I see. Vaping Cat says John Paul I sped run the papacy. Yeah. Yeah. The new Pope doesn't look 69. I don't know, he looks about that, I think, to me. Maybe it's difficult to judge people's hair, isn't it? Judge people's... or Vaping Cat's distracting me with hair talk. But judge people's ages. Benedict Loki also had a lot of hair for the age. And he was German. Yes, he was. Pat Wright says psychedelic furs. Right, I'm glad I'm not the only one who's that old, Pat. Now, yeah, we don't have to go into the conclave again, but I did have a little bit of... I did have a bit of a laugh, because there's this meme. I don't know if you've probably seen this meme, but it's so funny. If you want to know why they lock the doors, because it's called conclave. The conclave, it actually means with the key, because they lock them in there. And as I explained previously, it's very, very... the secrecy is very strict. The cardinals are completely sequestered for the entire process. Well, not always. Sometimes they take a break. One conclave took 3 years, I think, sometime in the 8th century or something. They had one that took 3 years, and they were allowed to go home and walk the streets and visit their families before they had to come back. But you just got to ask yourself, right? If you see a load of blokes going into a building and then white smoke starts coming out of it, and the doors are locked, but they want privacy, well, maybe there's another reason, and this is it. I love this. Yep. Yeah, man. This was going viral, this meme, man. It's so funny. I love it. Oh, the new Pope Mobile is electric. Oh, blimey. Of course, it has to be, doesn't it? In fact, I'll go into his views on climate change and things. Pope, says Lance Corporal. Yes, Nick Pope. At least it's not Nick Pope. At least Nick Pope is not the Pope. That would be really bad, doesn't it? Where does the prophecy of St. Malachi stand? Ah, yes, we'll go into that, doesn't it? Yes. I did post it on Twitter, yes. Do you think the Pope has a cat? No, he's a football fan, though, apparently, which is pretty encouraging. Gives him a bit of normality. But, yeah, it's... I don't know. I mean, I'll talk more about about this guy, because let me just adjust my notes slightly. Right, this is guy. He's Pope number 267, apparently. Because the first one was St. Peter. I mean, the Catholics are rather, what's the word? Tina Silver. Oh, yes, good question. Soccer or American football? Yeah. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of American football. I remember when I was over there, I'm going back there actually to Contact in the Desert. So I was in this bar, and they were all sitting there, and everyone was cheering and watching this sport that looked like. I think I described it as looking like a punch up in a motorcycle race pit. It's not real football, I don't think. So I think it is actually soccer. The reason is because even though he's American, he's generally considered more Peruvian because he spent most of his life there, and he is a Peruvian citizen as well. So it is soccer. He is a football fan, a real football fan, not a strange, weird kind of odd game football fan. But his name is Robert Prevost. He is American, born in Chicago. He's taken the name Leo the 14th. And we'll just do the usual. I think the best thing is to go to bloody Wikipedia, isn't it? This was a stub yesterday. It was only we went down to there and it was kind of filled in. But he's just Pope Leo the 14th, Robert Francis Prevost, born September the 14th, 1955, just 69 years old. Born in Chicago, Illinois, Prevost was ordained as a priest of the Order of St. Augustine in 1982. Right, so he was actually not that young when he was ordained. He was almost 30 years old when he was ordained, so he's quite a late comer to the old. I'll leave this as it is so I can come back to your comments more easily. He's a bit of a late comer to the whole priesthood. I mean, because priests can be ordained at any age. Some people do, but it says here his service included extensive work in Peru from 1985 to 1986, and from 1988 to 1998, where he variously served as a parish pastor, diocesan official, seminary teacher, and administrator. Elected Prior General of the Order of St. Augustine from 2001 to 2013. He then returned to Peru as Bishop of Chiclayo, 2015 to 2023. In 2023, Pope Francis appointed him prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops, and I don't know what that means, president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, and made him a cardinal the same year. These roles elevated his prominence as a papal candidate. Right, so the only reason he was in the conclave is because Pope Francis very recently, just 2 years ago, made him a cardinal. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been there. Now, and I don't remember him being Papal. Do you remember if you remember my Atina says here, Monty Python did a soccer playing Pope sketch. Oh, I'll have to watch that. I'm sure that'll become funny. Do you remember when I went through in the last two videos? I think I've done 2 or 3 videos about the Pope in the last few months. But he was like, what's the word? I gave a list of all the candidates. Now, different news sources were reporting different people, but I don't remember seeing this guy's name. I don't remember him being listed as Papabile. And they always say, if you go into the conclave of Pope, you come out as a cardinal. In other words, don't go in there expecting too much. And all the Papabiles now have come out cardinals. But the one who went in there as a cardinal has come out as a Pope. You see, this happened in the film Conclave and the book, as people like Vaping Cat and whoever it was who's read the book would know. It's a kind of sorry for the spoiler, but in the film, it's a kind of last-minute entry. And John Paul II actually was not Papabile. He was also an outsider who made it to the papacy. I should have put a bet on, shouldn't I? Easy to say that in retrospect. Hello, Green Sky. Did Trump know he was an American, as Trump dressed as one as a hint? Well, Trump must have known that, yes. Vaping Cat says, have you heard him speak English? He certainly picked up some sort of accent a bit. Yeah, he's American and he speaks like with an American accent. However, he does actually. He's clearly got an unusual accent because of his travels, and he can speak. We'll go into the languages he speaks. But Pope's always a very good linguist. Hello, Sorenable. How are you? I hope you are welly, friend. Yes, I'm welly. Yes, in fact, I'm welly wood. Hello. Peter is Petrus, the first pope was Peter, according to Malachi. The last pope will be Peter, aka Petrus. Yes, Peter the Roman was what was supposedly what the information conducted to St. Malachi in 1350 or thereabouts, and reported by Alfred Weon in, was it 1545 or something, 1545, and Peter the Roman, if you do the numerology, represents Pope Francis, the one who's just died. Welsh Ripper. I'll be making contact in about 15 minutes with the bed. Oh, fair enough, mate. Fair. I'm not going to stay up too late. See how we're living. He's the Peruvian from Breaking Bad. Oh, Breaking Bad. Oh, Tina actually introduced me to that series. It's quite good. I've got the DVDs here. Hello, Sovereign. How are you? Pope is a Sagittarius, not a Leo. Is he? Oh, right. Hello, Nihilist Lives Matter. Oh, yes, because of his birthday. Yeah, his birthday. How are you? See how we're living. I wish Dave Allen was still here. Oh, man, yes. Oh, I was thinking of Dave Allen. Do you remember that meme that was going around during the C word era, where they were doing, baptism under lockdown, and they had a priest with the font, and he had a water pistol, and the family was socially distancing, holding the baby, and the priest had a water pistol. And I thought to myself, if Dave Allen was still alive, that would have been his joke. Hello, Sweeps. Joining in late, Ben. Lots of trouble. Rumble website is down. Many people on social media reporting. Your viewers may want to. Oh, bloody want to know. Oh, damn it. Was Rumble down? Let's just double check. It always scares me when this happens. Rumble. Let's have a look. Is it back? Let's have a look. Well, it's back now. But, with everything that's happening which we've talked about, here we are. This is my last video here. Yeah, but it seems to be back now, Sweeps, but it does scare me when this happens. I can only watch. I haven't actually had a chance to watch it yet because I've been so busy at work. But I've only just had a notification for your BitChute video. So sorry, for your Rumble video, which I know you told me about anyway, and you sent me a link. But it's the Rumble tends to send links out by email notification about usually a week to 10 days afterwards. But I mean, it annoys me because I can't watch it on. I can watch it on BitChute through a VPN, but I can't watch any BitChute uploaders now I can't comment. Yes, North and South America are claiming him. Well, Lance, it's funny. We've just had another South American probe in Argentina. He's a cunning linguist. Yes, he might even be a mass debater. Hello, Arts Channel. Hello, Gary Robinson. Hello, mate. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Gary. Yeah, Gary and I and a few other friends are sort of meeting up tomorrow somewhere. We're having a private discussion about very important things. Arts Channel. He does not look like a pope. That's actually. I don't think he has. He doesn't appear to have that kind of swagger, does he? You'd think he'd be more kind of arrogant. He says here, a dual citizen of the United States. He's the first pope from North America, the first to be a Peruvian citizen. He's the first pope from the order of St. Augustine, the seventh from the orders following the rule of St. Augustine. He's the fourth pope with African heritage. Now, someone mentioned that he actually was, he was mixed race. And he was born September the 14th, Sagittarius, as Tina points out. 1955 at the Mercy Hospital, Bronzeville in Chicago, Illinois, USA. His mother was called Mildred Prevost. Here we are, a native of the 7th Ward of New Orleans, graduated from his father was Louis Marius Prevost, a U.S. Navy veteran of World War II, superintendent of Brockwood School District. All right, so they were kind of like teachers. Yeah, library science. His mother was a librarian, I think. His father was a teacher. He's got two older brothers, Louis and John. Yeah. His grandfather was called Giovanni Provost, an Italian man. All right, so he is kind of Italian. There we are. They wanted an Italian man. They got a man who's got an Italian grandfather. He speaks Italian. I mean, isn't that good enough? And Suzanne Fontaine, a French woman. His mother Mildred was a black Creole. These are. I didn't know what that meant. I know Creole is a language. It's a type of dialect of English. But it says here Creole. It refers to it refers to dialects that are kind of mixed languages, hybrid languages. And it says Creoles are the multiracial ethnic group from Louisiana the Creoles of Louisiana that developed the former French and Spanish colonies of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and northwestern Florida in the present-day United States. There you are, right? Yes, so he is mixed race. Daughter of a Hispaniola-born mixed-race father. There we are. So, yeah, he doesn't look it, but he is actually partly black. So he better start accusing people of racism and demanding money. That's all I can say. Make the most of it. It's like that. There's a brilliant episode of Family Guy where Peter discovers he has a black ancestor who was like a slave, and he starts demanding reparations. And of course, the black guy in it really hates that. But yeah, here we go. He was raised in Dalton, Illinois. Grew up in the parish of St. Mary of the Assumption. Sang in the choir and served as an altar boy. He was known as Bob or Rob to his childhood friends. He completed a secondary education at St. Augustine Seminary High School. Right, a minor. All right, so he did actually attend a Catholic high school, which is it's a seminary high school. Which I don't know what that means, but I assume it is like related to the seminary, so it's for like novices and people like that. And he graduated in 1973, earning a letter of condemnation for academic excellence. He was editor-in-chief of the school magazine, a student council member, National Honor Society, participated in speech and debate. He is a master debater. There you are, Tina. He earned a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Villanova University in 1977. He obtained a Master of Divinity from the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago in 1982. That's it. That's when he was ordained. There you go. That was his seminary. I wonder if he met Danny Sheehan. I'll come on to Danny Sheehan in a minute. He learned a licentiate of canon law. So he's like a canon law solicitor. He's well qualified. In 1987, he became a doctor of canon law at the Pontifical State University at St. Thomas Aquinas in Rome. Yeah, so he spent time in Rome, and he lives in Rome now. Obviously, he lives in Rome, but he lived in Rome before. But this is where he grew up. I mean, obviously, there's going to be. Look, here we go. I'll show you his family home. It's rather modest. 212 in whatever it is in Dalton, Illinois. It is unlike most American houses. It does seem to be made of brick, and most American houses seem to be made. Americans seem to prefer wood as a building material for domestic homes, which I've never understood. You know, if the wolf turns up, it'll huff and it'll puff, etc. This one's brick. It's more like a British house. Very modest, though, isn't it? Very modest. No doubt it's going to have a big blue plaque on the wall somewhere, and tourists will come and see it because it's the Pope and he's an American Pope as well. So there you go. Missionary work here we go. And then he joined the Order of St. Augustine as a novice in 1977, residing at the Immaculate Conception Church at Compton Heights, St. Louis, Missouri. Took his first vows in September 1978, solemn vows in August 1981, ordained as a priest in June the 19th, 1982. And he joined the Augustinian mission to Peru in 1985. And that's where he spent most of his life, in Peru. And it goes into some details here. I won't cover all these details. But it goes into, and he became Bishop of Chiclayo, which is a Peruvian diocese. And this is the cathedral. I'll show you the cathedral where he was, of Chiclayo Cathedral. Anyway, where is it? Is this it? There we are. Very typical. That's very typically South American architecture. Conquistador kind of like shock and awe type of thing. Yeah, and it just. Oh, here's this. This is him as in 2018. Do you want to see a video of him in 2018? This is when he was Bishop of Chiclayo. Here he is. Oops.
Algunas autoridades
I hope you can
por
see the
casos
subtitles.
específicos que encontré en algunos de los centros poblados de Cañaris cuando estuve ahí la semana pasada, de situaciones donde los niños no estaban recibiendo la atención médica que necesitan. Y es importante que ahí también que las autoridades de los varios sectores quizás que nos reunamos o que miremos cómo ayudar a estos pueblos, ¿no? Justo en este mes he estado un buen tiempo en Incahuasi.
That's just him there. That's him. He's got quite a suntan there, isn't he? I mean, I don't know if that's his racial heritage or whether it's just being in a very hot country. I don't know. Oh, here we go. During his time in Chiclayo, Prevost was accused of covering up sexual abuse. Well, how many officials of the church have not been accused of that? In 2022, alleged victims of abuse in 2007 by priests Ricardo Yesquen and Electuri Vasquez Gonzalez said Provost failed to investigate their cases. Right. Well, that's pretty much, that's par for the course, isn't it? And then the papacy, yeah. Prevost was considered a dark horse to more prominent Papabile. Yeah, he wasn't, as I said, I didn't mention his name, I don't think, in the previous videos as a possible candidate. And then it just describes his views, church policy. Let's see, because everyone's going to wonder if he's like a hardliner or a moderate or a reformer or what he is. Episcopal leadership should prioritize faith over administration. The first priority is to communicate the beauty of faith, the beauty and joy of knowing Jesus. His first message as Pope emphasized the greeting of peace and the risen Jesus, etc., etc. Themes of his message include Jesus as the light of the world. Yeah. Prevost is a strong proponent of synodality. I don't know what that means. It sounds like a bell ringing. The Catholic Church often described the process of fraternal collaboration. It's so complicated, this stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Women. Prevost opposes the ordination of women to the diaconate. Oh, that's, I think, to do with, yeah, a deacon, right? Yes. The diaconate. He doesn't believe in female deacons. There's a bit of a controversy, and this was even when I used to go to church. People talked about this, whether women could be deacons. Deacons being kind of like lay officials in the. I think that's their definition. Let me get the. It's kind of like a lay official. A deacon is an office in churches that generally associated with service of some kind that varies among traditions and theology. And very often it involves people who are not necessarily ordained. They're not ordained priests, but they have some kind of role. And it's different depending on which church it is. I'll come back to your comments in a minute. I'm just going to finish this Wikipedia article. Oh, you know, all the wokies are going to say, oh, but they're not accepting women, and they have female Anglican priests now. And you know, you think they'd come up to date? I remember Woody Allen's Sleeper. You know, the comedy. It's a comedy. It's very funny. I'm a big Woody Allen fan. I know about the suspicious elements of his life, but nothing's been proved yet. But he finds he goes into the future and he finds an old newspaper from 1990. Pope gives birth to third child. Oh, but you know, all the feminists and things that go on about this. I just wish one of them. I wish one of them would like catch me in a corner and start preaching about this issue, because I would immediately turn it. I'd immediately turn to them and said, What's wrong with you? Why don't you want to protect women from the bourgeois institution of religion? That'd be so funny, wouldn't it? Provost is seen as a moderate or centrist. He said he was a cosmopolitan figure. But of course, he opposes euthanasia, abortion, and the death penalty. It's going to be. I don't think Catholics will ever change their position on those things. And you know, when it comes to abortion, I agree with them. But here we go. Prevost expressed support for the V word during the C19. You know what? sympathy for George Floyd and the protesters. Well, George Floyd, I don't feel sympathy for George Floyd. I'm sorry that he died. I don't think he deserved to die. But from what I gather, he was a rather unpleasant individual, and he was the architect of his own demise. I don't think. I mean, hopefully the policeman will get an appeal. What's his name? Derek Chauvin. I don't think. I think that was very much a show trial, but that's a long story. Here we go. LGBTQ. In April 2016, Prevost opposed the inclusion of gender ideology in Peruvian schools. Well, I agree. I don't think these things should be discussed in schools. In 2012, he criticized popular culture's sympathy for the homosexual lifestyle and same-sex families. All right, I don't have any interest at all in other people's private lives, personally. Same-sex families, these are going to be inevitable at some point, because some women will have babies and they will want to live with another woman. I don't like the way it's being politicized, things like that. I'm opposed to politicization and things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's more citation needed there. He did not fully endorse or reject Fiducia Supplicans, a doctrinal declaration concerning blessings for people at the same-sex relationship. So he's open-minded about that. I know there's some churches that do that. I mean, some of the Protestant nonconformists do blessings for same-sex relationships now. Here we go. Climate change. Provost has advocated for stronger church action against climate change. Right. I wonder what he thinks about the dimming the sun that Britain's doing right now. Provost stressed the need for prudence and responsibility on using social media to preclude fueling divisions and controversy. Oh dear. I'm liking this guy less and less. It just talks about his personal life. His mother, Mildred, died in 1990. His father in 1997. He consulted his brothers about his potential papal name, so he's in touch with his brothers. He's a native English speaker, but fluent in Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese, and he can read Latin and German. All right. Provost is an amateur tennis player. All right. So even at his age, he still gets the old racket out and ball. All right. He's a fan of the Chicago White Sox of Major League Baseball. Well, he's a Yank after all. And the Villanova Wildcats men's college basketball team. All right. So he likes basketball. I mean, basketball is it's the one sport I've ever played seriously in my life, and it is cool. It's lovely. I mean, watching it is like it's more like a dance than a sport. It's really wonderful to watch. While living in Peru, he became a supporter of Alianza Lima, one of Peru's most prominent soccer teams. There you go. He's a football fan. That's not so bad, is it? Anyways, that's the guy himself. Let's go through I won't be able to answer every comment, I'm afraid. But I'll just say hello to new people. Hello, Nihilist Lives Matter. How are you? Welcome. Let's go through hello, John Fused. How do you do? Hatchy, welcome. Think of them global deals with a Yankee Pope. See how we live in. He's a year older than me and a year younger than Anthony Peake. That's right, Anthony Peake's 70. As you know, I met Anthony Peake, didn't I, just a couple of weeks ago. The surname Prevost originates from the Old French word prévost, meaning provost or overseer. The term derives from the Latin praepostistus, meaning one placed. All right. Apparently, the last pope was supposed to be the last pope. We'll come on to that, Hatchie. Definitely, we'll come on to St. Malachi. Definitely. Superintendent, pray. Oh, right. Rumble's still down, folks. I can't get it. Many top contributors online reporting they've been blocked out. Right. Well, sweeps. I can see it at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that. Anymore? Hello, Pie Pounder. Welcome. Is this the Pope of Disclosure? We'll go into that. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Vaping cat. No wonder he's Pope. If he had to survive with two older siblings in that small house, I'd have had enough patience to become Pope myself. I know it is very See how we live in. Diana Pasolka can get access to all areas now as the Pope inherited the library. Well, Danny Sheehan said that today. But is she likely? Hello, Gary Robinson. Hiya. Gary can speak Spanish. I know you lived in that kind of area. Tina, is he the Quetzalcoatl Haderach? Oh, right. That's from Dune. Yeah. This is a good question because is according to St. Malachi, he can't exist as Pope, you see. Sovereign, UFO whistleblower Jake Barber, ex-CIA. Anyone seen his disclosure video of aliens here on Earth? Yes, the egg. Yeah. Tina, Ben, are you a chauvinist? Hello, David Splendid Isolation. How do you do? Anyway, it's nearly 10 to 10. We need to push on. Done all that. Well, he's done his first mass. He's going to have a coronation at some point. Just ticking these off. The papal coronation. Let's see when that's going to be. I'll just put here because he has to have a proper coronation like the king. Because they use words like abdicate, throne. You know, they use a lot of royal. A lot of royal. Papal inauguration. It's called. This will take place on Sunday, the 18th of May in St. Peter's Square. Right, so he's having a formal coronation in the same way the king would. RF Arts Channel is going into more ideas of the etymology of his name. Yeah. Right, now, of course, I've mentioned several times the prophecy of the popes. Now, this was a series of 112 documents, which were kind of like cryptic phrases with a lot of symbolism in, which appear to refer to popes, the various popes. First published in 1595 by Arnold Weon, a Benedictine monk, but he attributed them to Saint Malachi, who actually was an Irish bishop he was the Bishop of Armagh, Archbishop of Armagh, and he went on a pilgrimage to Rome in the mid-12th century. I think it was 1130 or 1150 or something like that. And the original document by Weon still exists. It's in what's called the Reserva, which is like a secret part of the Vatican Library. It's mentioned in that third secret book. It's been dismissed as a forgery. Now, there's good reasons. There's two good reasons for thinking it's a forgery. The first is it refers to, well, the story is that Malachi, when he was in Rome, was visited by an angel who told him that there will be 111 popes after the present one. In other words, at the time Malachi was there, which was in the 1140s, Celestine II was Pope in Rome. And he was the first of 112 popes to come. 111 would come after him. And then it would be Armageddon, the end of the world, Judgment Day, the rapture, all that kind of thing. Book of Revelation stuff. This was essentially a prophecy of the end of the world. Now, there's a lot of those. These commentators have divided these documents into two halves and this is where it gets suspicious, because 1 to 74 are quite accurate. They're quite accurate. So this is basically all the popes from the 1140s to the 1590s. They're quite accurate. And the reason they're accurate, I mean, a cynic would say the reason they're accurate is because Alfred Weon composed this document himself, and he knew who the popes were. So he simply used symbolic and cryptic language to encode information about the popes, the historical popes that he knew, including the one who was pope at the time. Then after that, from 72 to 111, or 112, 72 to 112, it becomes a bit more vague. It suddenly becomes the cryptic nature of it changes into something much deeper, and proponents of the prophecy have to go to much more effort to explain them. they have to use far more sort of vague and rather tangential kind of references. So, for example, number 75. This is the one. This came after the publication. It says here, pious citizen in war, Innocent the Ninth. Now, this is generally thought to be Innocent the Ninth, but this guy only became pope after the publication, and the proponents of the prophecies had a lot of trouble linking pious citizens in war with Innocent the Ninth. They just say, well, he was born in Bologna, and in Bologna there was a war 500 years ago, therefore that's what it means, and things like that. And it goes on like that, right from 72 right up to 112. Now, the final pope is, as I've explained before, is called Peter the Roman. And Peter the Roman, it says, the Peter the Roman, who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations, when these things are finished, the city of the seven hills, which is Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end of the world. And that's the last pope, and then it's the end of the church, it's the end of the world, it's the second coming, it's the rapture, Book of Revelations, fire and brimstone, Armageddon, etc., etc. Well, if you do if you work it out and you count the popes through the ages, Peter the Roman refers to Pope Francis. And they've had an awful lot in the proponents of the theories have been trying to link this prophecy to Pope Francis. And they've said things like, it is open to interpretation that additional popes will come between the glory of the olive and Peter the Roman, glory of the olive being Benedict XVI. But that's actually not true, because it's 111 and 112, so it's consecutive. Popular speculation by proponents of the prophecy attached this prediction to Benedict XVI's successor. After Francis's election as Pope, proponents try to link him to the prophecy. Theories include a connection with his namesake, Francis of Assisi, whose father was named Peter, and that he is of Italian descent. Again, that's like saying, I compared it to a prophecy about me, that I myself will die on the 3rd of a month. I'll die on the 3rd of January, February, March, April, whatever month it is, I will die on the 3rd day of that month, because there are 3 letters in my name, Ben. So there we are. So another reason to be suspicious of the most obvious reason to be suspicious of the prophecy is it's simply being disproved, because we now have 113th Pope, number 113. It's the one after Peter the Roman. 112 after Celestine II, which shouldn't exist. This Pope should never have happened, according to the prophecy. According to the prophecy, we should be in the end times now, and there will be no other Pope. Right, so David's St. Malachi's prophecy of the popes. Yeah, I think it's obviously been disproved, David. Tina, St. Malachi, Irish Archbishop's prophecy, is not considered an official Catholic teaching and is often viewed with skepticism. It is by me now. I mean, I did view it with skepticism when I found out about the fact that there was, because Alfred Weon, it looks like he wrote this in 1590s, because all the popes that come after that period, the cryptic nature becomes vaguer, because he's speculating about future popes, which he could never have any knowledge of. All right. Hello, Hatchy. How you doing? The planets are lined up, Ben. A pole shift could happen. Perhaps the Pope could let us have a chat with God and let us know. Well, yeah, I mean, you could, obviously, he's considered like God's representative on earth, isn't he, by Catholics. Vaping says, I don't know if you mention it, but the Catholic Church does not recognize the prophecy as authentic. Yeah. The planet is going a little Sodom and Gomorrah. Anything could happen. Yeah. Vaping cat. Oh, right. Oh, it's right. Now, so I think we could say St. Malachi, the prophecy has been disproven. Right. Danny Sheehan was actually on the Ashley Banfield show on News Nation. Now, I always come back to News Nation, don't I? I mean, people are taking a piss. I mean, the backslappers are always moaning about News Nation, and the skeptics do as well. News Nation, it is this kind of 3-letter news channel. I suppose it's the kind of American equivalent of GB News, I suppose. But Ashley Banfield did a program about this and interviewed several people, including Danny Sheehan. Now, Danny Sheehan is he's the official head of the Jesuit order in the US. He is, as you know, he's a very, very. I'll go some information about the man, because he has a Wikipedia page. He's been doing this for ages. I met him. If you remember, he appears in here we go. Daniel Sheehan, constitutional public interest lawyer. There we are. Yeah, this is he does have a Wikipedia page, for what it's worth. And he's 80 years old. Oh, good for him. Blimey, good for him. Still going strong. Still going strong. Good on him. He's gonna. I think he's going to be in contact again. I don't know. But it tells you about here how he was counsel for John Mack. He was Stephen Greer's. He has been Stephen Greer's solicitor now for about 30 years, and then he decided to act for Lou Elizondo, which caused this enormous. If you remember the hissy fit, the bitch trip that Stephen Greer went on as a result, which I covered on a previous video, how he's issuing these veiled threats at Danny. But anyway, Danny Sheehan says here, he said that he believes that rather than having a disclosure president, we could have a disclosure pope, and he thinks it's interesting that that he's called Pope Leo XIV, because Pope Leo XIII. Well, firstly, Leo XIII had a reputation for being very, what's the word? He was kind of like he was Pope from 1878 to 1903, so he was Pope in the 19th century primarily, the late Victorian era. But he was very into the rights of workers, fair wage, safe working condition, and he supported trade unions and things like that. I mean, he wasn't like woke in the modern sense, but he was like left wing. So people think it's significant that the new Pope is called Leo XIV, because he's like carrying on that legacy. I don't know if that's true, but another thing Leo XIII did is he set up the Vatican observatories, and it's not just one; there's several. There are several Vatican observatories. There's one in the Vatican City itself. There's another one There's several others. Here we go. At Castle Gandolfini, which has got nothing to do with Gandalf. And there's another. There were several. There's one in Castle Gandolfini. There's another one. There's a small one in the Vatican City itself, and there's another one in Arizona, USA. So it's spread around the world. Castle Gandolfini is like the Papal Palace. Here's a picture of it. This is like the Pope's like grand retreat, where it's actually just outside Rome. It appears in several Dan Brown books. But he set those up, so it appears he had an interest. Leo XIII had an interest in space and the stars and the possibility even of life in space. Now you see, people often think, well, would why would the church be interested in that? Well, I know they'd say things like, I know people who go to church, they're not interested in UFOs. And you also know a lot of people who don't go to church who are not interested. Danny, of course, is a religious man. He's a devout Catholic, and he's very into UFOs. And what you'll find is when you ask the people who say things like, well, if it turns out that aliens were real, the church would fall, it would collapse, they tend to be atheists. The people who believe the church would fall with the announcement of alien life, they tend to be atheists. Now, people who actually do believe in who are religious don't. I mean, in fact, several people have commented who are believers that the discovery of alien life, even if that alien life had already reached us and was actually sharing this planet with us, would not contradict Christian teachings at all. And it certainly wouldn't for other religions. I mean, Hinduism, Judaism, Islam, etc. It wouldn't. It doesn't contradict them at all. And amazingly, even funny enough, even Pope Francis said something remarkable once. He said that he would baptize an alien. He'd be willing to baptize an alien as a Christian. So Danny's now saying that rather than having a disclosure president, maybe the Vatican could do disclosure. Now, the Vatican, why shouldn't the Pope be the disclosure Pope rather than Trump being the disclosure president? Why shouldn't that happen? I mean, the Vatican City is the smallest nation on earth, and I've actually been very impressed with how small nations, tiny little micronations, microstates, seem to be the ones who are leading the way here. The smallest nations on earth seem to be the ones traditionally who are the head of exopolitics. I'll give you other examples. Grenada. I've spoken all the time about Sir Eric Gairy, the first Prime Minister of Grenada, which is an island just 10 miles square in the Caribbean. Very small nation. He's the guy who did the famous UFO speech at the United Nations. And where is one of the world's biggest exopolitics conferences today? San Marino. A tiny little country. You could walk across it in an hour. So why not the Vatican as well? So he could be the disclosure Pope. The question is, there's two things you need to do disclosure. Firstly, you need the political will to do it. And Danny thinks that Pope Leo has that. Secondly, they need the knowledge. Now, does the church have the knowledge to do disclosure? In other words, does it know UFOs exist? And I think the answer is yes. And Danny actually mentions this. And he refers back to something that David Grush said, which the backslappers have been castigating him for ever since. But in fact, believe it is true that this happened. Now, yeah, maybe Liechtenstein could join up then. Hello now, how are you? Or maybe even, maybe San Marino. How about that? There's another tiny little state on the south coast, just on the south coast of France. There we go. Now this refers to something I've said before. I'll come to your comments. I'll do your comments first, but I'll just go through your comments. I'll just see what I've missed here. So now, will this be the UFO Pope? Possibly. Mount Graham, that's the one. I think that's where the Vatican Observatory is, isn't it? Tina says, strange, the Papal Official Telescope's acronym is Satan. Maybe they got a sense of humor, I don't know. Hello, Iman Padima, how are you? Yes, John Paul I, Pope that only lasted for 33 days. Hachi, Stephen Greer and Blue Jeans. Oh, God, no. Don't, please. Don't fill my head with that image. I'll never be the same again. I'll be a changed man, if you know what I mean, if I think about that too much. Dave Bell, so do you think the new Pope will choose a Michelangelo or a Leonardo for his bedroom wall? I don't think he's into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dave. Right, let's carry on down here. I'm afraid I can't answer every comment you put here. Castle James Gandolfini. You fuck with me, you fuck with the family. Here we go. Tina says, officially, yes, the celibacy, yeah. The priests are still officially celibate, although priests who marry before their ordination can stay married. I know because I knew a guy who did that. He was a married man. His kids, I think he had sons and daughters. They went to the same school as my daughter. And he then was ordained as a priest, but he remained married. I think he had another child, actually. But yeah, I mean, the idea that priests just they're officially celibate. The idea that they just are they don't have sex is rubbish. They all do. I mean, Arts Channel. Is the Pope the only gay in the village? Well, he doesn't dress like that guy. David says women aren't allowed because women aren't primary since creation. Well, that would mean that the Adam and Eve story would have to be literally true, David, and it's not. You see, it's not. I mean, the idea. I know the idea was that that God took a rib from Adam and made Eve out of it, or something like that. Adam was the first man, but he was on his own. So then they just God said, "Well, let's make him a woman. Let's make him a woman to keep him company." And then they have then of course then they all have sons, Cain and Abel, etc. Although, funnily enough, like Cain had a child, but where's Mrs. Cain then? Presumably, he wasn't some kind of male parthenogenesis. I mean, where did the child come from? Oh, Arts Channel, Russian satellite falling to Earth tonight. Yes. Well, it may be tonight or tomorrow. They're not exactly sure when it'll actually deorbit, but it is entering the atmosphere at the moment. It's slowing very much. Now, this isn't this is not actually a satellite. It's very interesting. I covered this last night on Space Weather, as Rhiannon knows. This is a probe. It's a probe that was launched by the Soviet Union in 1972. It was designed to go to Venus, and with all the other probes they sent there, a lot of them were more successful. But the rocket unfortunately, the rocket broke down, and it ended up in orbit. It ended up stuck in Earth orbit, and it's been sort of like flying around ever since in Earth orbit. But that orbit has decayed, and now it's going to, and it's scheduled to enter the Earth's atmosphere tomorrow. They don't know exactly when it's going to hit, because they don't know the exact moment it will deorbit. But the interesting thing is, it weighs a ton. It's very heavy, and it will definitely reach the Earth's surface, because it is built like it's built with like a diving bell. It has a very heavy armor plating on it, because it has to survive a journey through Venus's much thicker atmosphere, and which is thicker and much hotter, and the surface pressure is like the equivalent of being 3,000 feet underwater or something, and it's so hot you can melt lead. So this will reach the Earth's surface. It will impact somewhere on the Earth's surface. I don't know where. I personally have put a bet on. I put £10 on the headquarters of William Hill bookies. The bad news is, I mean, if it lands there, there's good news. Odds of 100,000 to 1, so I'll be very rich. Bad news, the bookies will be destroyed, so I won't be able to collect. So, yeah, so anyway, so that, yes, that's going to happen tomorrow. It's either tonight or tomorrow. Now, and 69 Phuket, you can track its trajectory. Yes, should we look it up? I know this is going a bit off topic. I'll come on to Panotti in a minute. Is the probe? Where is the Soviet probe? All right. Here we go. A failed Soviet Venus probe is set to enter the Earth's atmosphere. BBC Sky at night. That'll help. I know we're going off topic here, but here we go. Cosmos 482 re-entry, latest updates. It could land anywhere. I mean, if you want to escape this, you have to go quite far north. I mean, you have to go, here we go. See, it could land where I am. I mean, where I am on the 55th parallel, it's kind of on the northern extent. It's right on the northern extent. But yeah, it could hit on the south of England. Anywhere as far north as like Birmingham or somewhere. You'd have to go up to Scotland to escape it. But only 10% of these orbits are over land. So the most likely place it will land is in the sea, in which case it will just sink without trace. Dave Bell, can they not destroy it? Well, did you see Simon Holland? He was saying the only thing that could destroy it is one of the weapons that Ashton Forbes identified. Oh, it's interesting, because Simon Holland is getting really woo lately, and he's into Ashton Forbes now. I think he interviewed him. He's into the Ashton Forbes stuff. And as you know, I've looked into both sides of the story, and I think Ashton's right. Okay, so the Fascist UFO Files by Roberto Panotti. Now, this used to be online. Is it gone now? It appears to have vanished, but this used to be. It's not a book. It's like an article. It's like quite a long article. It's a half-hour read. But you used to get it free online. I can't see it now. But I can remember the details. And what it was. And David Grush touched on this. And the backslappers have just been going nuts about it. Hello, Eonic Ark. How do you do? It could wipe out the entire population of the English Bigfoot. I don't think so. See, if it lands, it weighs a ton. It's traveling at orbital speed. It will make a very big explosion. It will, if it hits if it hits on land, you'll get a crater. You'll get a big blast. Yeah, and if it landed in a populated area, it could kill and injure people. It could do damage. Yeah, but it's very unlikely. And there's nothing. I mean, unless they do use one of Ashton and Forbes's. If they orbit, they use the orbs. They can't really do anything to stop it, unfortunately. Hello, Dave. Love the Woo Crew days. How do you do, Dave? Yeah. All right. Now, what happened was in 1933, there was a Roswell-type incident at Magenta. Now, Magenta is it's in the Lombardy region of Italy. It's a color. I know it's a color, but it's actually in the... Here we are. Let's just see if we can find it on the map. Because this is proof. According to this, if this is real, it means the... If this is proof, this means that the Vatican does have... It does have... knowledge that UFOs are real. It's here, you see, just Magenta. It's somewhere in this area here. I mean, I don't know exactly where. I've been searching using Google Earth and trying to search for where it might be. But you see, it's quite a built-up area. It's in the suburbs of Milan. It's quite close to a place called Novara. I hope none of them. I hope it's. I hope some of the ancestors of Ash Sarkar don't know about it. But anyway, what happened was this. It was basically a Roswell type event. Now, Benito Mussolini, the fascist dictator, he created an RS-34, which is the world's first UFO government UFO department. Yeah. And it's interesting that he was interested in UFOs, and this was back in the he started in the late 1920s, didn't he? Long before the modern UFO era, even before the Foo Fighters of World War II. Yeah, he knew there was something up there. He was sighting, and this RS-34, he collected sightings and things like that. And there was a crash. There was a crash in this place near Magenta. It's the usual thing, seal off the area, keep everyone quiet, get rid of the decisive physical evidence, then just pretend it never happened or make up some weather balloon story to cover it up. Now, what happened was that this was kept in a secure military base by the Mussolini regime. What happened was, though, when that regime was about to fall at the end of World War II, in the sort of after the invasion, the Saving Private Ryan scenario, what happened was the Americans invaded Italy, and they killed Mussolini and his wife, and they hung them upside down in a petrol station forecourt. But by then, Mussolini had handed he'd already passed this evidence over to the Vatican, so it was shipped to the Vatican on their little railway they have that goes into the little station there. The Vatican then had a back channel to the Americans, and what happened was the Vatican then gave it to the Americans. Pope, what's his name? Who was the Pope at that time? Let's have a look. I'm just going to go through these. I think it was John. All right. Was it Pius the 11th? Yeah, I think it was Pope Pius the 11th. He handed it to the Americans, and then it was taken to the United States and kept wherever they kept those things in those days. This was before, by the way, this was not Area 51. This was probably the technical data session at Wright-Patterson Air Force. What's now Wright-Patterson Air Force Base used to be called Wright Field, because that's where they took the Roswell debris 2 years later. It was not taken to Area 51 because Area 51 did not open until 1955. Let's go through some of your comments here. I can't answer every comment, unfortunately. There's too many. Tina Silva, yes, they're happy because they eat. Like, that is, well, you have to watch my video called Weird Weekend North to understand why I have this T-shirt. But it's all explained in there. It's all explained in that video. Rhiannon explains actually here exactly why I'm wearing this T-shirt. Where are we now? Tash Sarkar. Oh, she's an odious little minx, isn't she? She really is. I saw her once. Because when I was doing that Trump thing in London, she walked past me. She looked at me. And she scowled at me. She went like that. Okay, just going to go for this. Oh, hello, Ionic Arc. Welcome, Ionic Arc. Have you watched the 2 videos Ancient Architects has done about the underground anomalies in Giza? No, but I've watched Jay of Project Unity. I've watched his videos about them. Fascinating stuff. I actually covered that on a video like a couple of months ago. I don't know if you saw it. I did a video about it. It's on my channel. There we go. 69 Phuket. I'm not ignoring you. Says Ben's ignoring me tonight. I'm not. I'm just going through the notes and coming back to the comments when I can. Welcome, 69 Phuket. Sorry if I missed your previous comments. No, nothing personal. No offense. So, what's happening now? So yeah, where are we now? Yes, now Danny mentions the Magenta crash, which means that the Vatican still will have records of this, even if they don't have the physical evidence. And now the backslappers and the skeptics have really poured scorn on the whole Magenta crash thing ever since David Grush talked about it. The thing is, they've said that based on basically they've listened to David Grush's testimony, his first interview with Ross Coulthart. Then they went to the skeptics pages and they looked at them. They didn't read Roberto Panotti's document. They didn't read the fascist UFO files, which they need to do. So the details will be somewhere in the Vatican Library, the Vatican Archives. And as Danny said, and someone's mentioned in chat, Diana Walsh-Pasulka apparently is going to get permission to go in there. Diana Walsh-Pasulka is this lady who's been talking a lot about. She was in that Encounters. Do you remember in that Encounters TV series on Netflix? Danny thinks that aliens don't contradict Christianity. He also says there's connections to human consciousness, which relates to things like the afterlife. And he also says there's other elements of the UFO phenomenon that are connected to religion, such as levitation and transmutation. Levitation, they fly without any obvious means of propulsion or lift. Transmutation, they can turn one substance into another, which of course is what Jesus did with water and wine, didn't he? And fishes and loaves and stuff. Ben Hansen was also interviewed in this Banfield episode. Now he hosts something called UFO Witness on Discovery Plus. I don't have Discovery Plus. I've only ever watched one episode of this, but it was interesting. Ben Hansen was the guy who discovered the Roswell diary, if you remember. And he says that he believes that this is, he says it's really exciting. It's like a Dan Brown book. And I reckon, Dan Brown needs to write a book about this sort of thing, about UFOs and the Vatican and things. It'd be great if he did that. So Dan, write a book about this. And he says he talks about demonic possession records that are in the Vatican Library. And that, again, there's this connection with... he says there may be a connection with the abduction, because it could be that before the modern era, people interpreted UFO contact experiences as abduction and contact as demonic possession. Now, I'm just going through my notes here, checking I've got everything right. And now next thing I want to bring up is art. Now, this is another thing. Now, Danny mentions this. How are we doing? How are we getting on in chat? Everyone there? I don't know. Have I just missed anyone else? Okay. Rhiannon and David are having a debate, which is so much like what they get up to in the Panwo radio chat. It really is. Religion in art. Right. UFOs in art. Now, this is an interesting web page here. I'll show it to you. Is there a UFO in Renaissance paintings? And there are UFOs in all kinds of artistic works. Now, this is the Piero della Francesca Baptism of Christ. It's a 15th century painting. I can't see UFO in this one. There's a white dove above him there. Is it referring to these clouds? I don't know. But it gets more interesting. There are more interesting examples. Now, this here is Massillon da Panical, The Miracle of the Snow, 1428 to 32. Now, look, what's these? These are obviously, this is obviously a cloud, but below it there are what looks like they're not clouds. I don't think clouds don't look like that. They look more saucers-like. Now, this is, can you see this? Just check you can see this. This is Livre de Bonnes Mœurs, 1430, about 1430, by Jacques Legrand. This is French, I presume. And you see people, there's these crowds of people here. There's a woman with is that a water wheel? I don't know. But there's the sky, look at the sky. There's these little, I don't know what they are, these things. They look like drones, actually, modern drones. Then there's this big circular thing, this sphere. What's that? I don't know. Do you know what it does remind me of? Let me see if I can find it. Probably someone in chat will, I bet you some of you people in chat have thought about this. That Colombian case. Some of you will have thought about this, won't you? Remember this? This came up a couple of months ago because it was filmed flying in the air, and a couple of days ago, someone decided that they were going to come forward and someone decided to come forward and said, "Oh, we actually picked the sphere up and we took it home, and this is it." Do you remember that? That was from a couple of months ago. Well, this is the sphere. And it's been X-rayed apparently. Now I don't know. I don't know. See, is it being studied? I don't know much about this, but I had a quick look at it. The Angry Astronaut covered it. He thinks it's a fake. To be honest, I mean, it does remind me a little bit of, the Reed link artifact a little bit. This is the guy who's holding it there. And this is X-rays of it. Jaime Maussan, of course, is involved in this. I mean, people often say things like you shouldn't let Jaime Maussan get involved in it.
According to the researchers, indicate that it is a solid object, comparable.
People say, well, you shouldn't let Jaime Maussan get involved in this. How the hell? The thing is, though, unless you want to build a £4 million flood defense or a complete column of tanks to surround the location, with fully armed with their guns pointing outwards, right? You will not be able to keep Jaime Maussan away from these kinds of things. The guy's like a force of nature. He just goes. He's literally like he goes. Ah! He just goes. His enthusiasm is absolutely boundless, and of course he featured this on his program, which I've watched it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get subtitles for it, but I could, based on the pictures, I guess what he was talking about. But that's what it reminds me of, doesn't it? Is this the same thing or something similar? I mean, I don't know, because like I said, I'm 90% sure that this is fake. I am. I haven't watched.
The outermost layer seemed to be the dental, although the results imply that the outer layer might.
What's Edgar Mitchell got to do with this?
Be composed of steel or titanium. Obviously, we don't know the composition or how it was manufactured.
There's this looks like crop circles to me. These things. I mean, an artist could make this, and there's this strange like etchings around the middle, which look like Klingon or something. They look like alien language. I mean, that looks it's a bit too Hollywood, really, and it's a bit too, to me, that just is a bit too corny. I don't think that it's real. But, it's interesting. Spherical UFOs do exist. There's much more credible cases of spherical UFOs existing. Now, this is the best one. This is the Madonna with San Giovanni. It's by Domenico Ghirlandaio. Now, we don't know. The thing is, this was a studio, so no one knows the actual attribution. The actual artist is actually unknown. When it says Domenico Ghirlandaio, that's the attribution of the studio that created it. But, I mean, in those days, paintings were produced by teams of people, not just one artist. And this is actually very well known. This is the most famous and probably the most interesting one. And in fact, I got a more detailed one here to show you. Let's go to Reddit, of course. If in doubt, go to Reddit. Oh, where's the pictures? Oh, the picture's gone. Oh, I want to go back. Though Reddit was what? Do you remember Reddit was where they found that guy talking about the aliens? You remember? As you see, this is you can see a more detailed picture of it here. This is if you look at this, this is the Virgin Mary here with an angel. That is St. John there, San Giovanni, St. John. And you see in the background there's what looks like a coastal village or town. And what's this here? There's a man and his dog, and the man appears to be staring up at the sky at something. He's going like that. The dog is also looking upwards. And what are they looking at? You see it here. There's the man and the dog looking upwards. This thing here, these beams mean it's something glowing, but it looks like it's a flying saucer. It's a bleeding flying saucer. This is in a 15th century painting. This is interesting. This is St. Augustine and the Devil. Now, people have said that might look like an alien. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. Interesting picture, interesting image. Much more naturalistic than most art of that era. 1475. Look, he's got a face on his arse. I've seen this one. This is very interesting. Look, you see, look. Flying saucer. That looks like a flying saucer beaming a beam of light down. Now, of course, and it's beaming. Look how it's beaming down. It's beaming down onto this woman who's sitting here praying on her knees. This is Carlo Crivelli, the Annunciation of Saint Emiltius, 1486. The Annunciation is like a beam of light coming down from a UFO. Well, that's how we interpret it, maybe through our modern eyes. But look, and of course the Nuremberg, the 1561 Nuremberg invasion, very well known. There's older examples of art dating back much further, and even to prehistoric times, cave paintings that have grey aliens, UFOs, things like that. Graham Hancock has talked a lot about this. 69 Phuket. Ben is planning his jolly days. Oh, I'm always doing that. Every day's a jolly day for me. Okay, let's go through this, see what we have here. Any more new comments or people joining us? Hatching. Is that why they're chemtrailing, blocking out the UFOs? Good question. I think, you see, if you're doing anything on the 21st of June, there's a massive protest in London, which I'm going to go to. I'm going to it against this sort of thing. And I'll say more at the time. I'll do a video about it. And I'll see you there, because, I mean, the reason for chemtrails, I mean, there's many, many reasons, because, of course, they're already doing it. I mean, why? And that's the question. Hello, Dennis Carr. Welcome. Alan Raven. If that's not a UFO, then what is it exactly? 69 Phuket says here, interesting. Oh, Hachi mentions crop circles. Yeah. The images on that sphere, that Booga sphere, looks to me like crop circles. Definitely not a man-made circle. Not been the same since Ben. You should do a show on crop circles. Well, I did actually, Hachi. You need to go to. It's called Ben Goes on Tour. The first one, where it's not about crop circles, but there's a crop circle segment in it. I actually visit 2 crop circles, I believe. Yeah. 69 Phuket. The USA did experiments in Vietnam with red night vision goggles. The gunners put them on and started shooting the guns. They saw devils coming towards them. Right, yeah. Maybe that's how they interpret it, as devils, but it could have been something else. It's interesting that a soldier in the Vietnam War saw a winged humanoid, it looked like a woman. It was a feminine figure, completely black, with wings coming out of its shoulders. Yeah. But yeah, fix Phuket. Yes, that's it. I'll look into that, mate. If you could you got my email. If you could send me any details, I'd be very grateful. How are we doing? So, right. Is there a connection to Trump? Now, Trump and Vance have both sent their congratulations to the new Pope. They do seem to be very, very proud that there's an American now in the Vatican. The Pope is now American. It's the first time that's ever happened. But I don't think the feeling is mutual, because the Pope actually, before this was several years ago, before he was Pope, he said something to Danny. He said something to, what was it? He said something to J.D. Vance that wasn't very complimentary. Oh yeah, he tweeted, Pope tweet to J.D. Vance. Here we go. Because J.D. Vance apparently made a comment that he didn't like. Here we go. I'll go hit it. The new Pope slammed J.D. Vance. Now the internet can't stop mocking him. Vance has actually sent his congratulations. J.D. Vance has been made fun of in myriad hilarious ways, accusing him of having. Oh right, yeah, that's the Sati thing. Yeah, we know about that. God, they'll never let him forget that, will they? Pope Leo XIV, previously Cardinal Robert Provost, has been an outspoken critic of the way Vance tried to use Catholic teachers to justify the Trump administration's draconian immigration policy. And he wrote on social media, J.D. Vance is wrong. Jesus does not ask us to rank our love for others. Right. Well, I mean, he's the clergyman, not me. But I... you can all hear me. It's right, yeah. Yeah. Oh, God, you know what it is? It's that bloody that Yahoo page is full of ads. Right. Okay. I'll just get rid of this. I'll close that page because these news sites are so infested with ads. They can just slow down your browser. I mean, he's the clergyman. Obviously, he what Jesus would have said about this, that, or the other. But I mean, I endorse the Trump administration's immigration policy. I think it's about time that they actually did something about their own immigration crisis. It's not racist. It's not hateful. I believe it's a problem like with Britain's and Europe's immigration crisis. It can be solved. It can be solved easily, and actually, there's easy ways to do it. It can be done peacefully and ethically. Definitely. Oh, Ionic Ark says, right. What do you think of Hitler in Argentina? I think it's worth a stream. May well be, Ionic Ark. I'll tell you what, I have done a video about it already. Where is it? I'll just show it to you, because I mean, I spoke to a guy. He died actually, but I met a guy twice, and he told me some incredible things. I met a bloke who talked to me about this very subject. For example, here, this is a video you should watch. Jack of the Antarctic, R.I.P. As I said, he's died. But I met him in 2006, first of all, a long time ago. I don't know who he was, but I don't know his real identity. But do watch that, because if there's anything you want to add, put a comment on there and I'll cover it. So really, whatever the Pope's personal opinion on this issue, I don't think would Jesus want us to create a homogenized world, or a world full of every country's in a civil war between the natives and the colonists? I mean, would they want that? Obviously, the New World Order want that. This is why they're doing it. The immigration crisis is not just being allowed to happen by people. These government. You've got this idea that the government is just sitting there like they're wringing they're wringing their hands so much, and they're shackled so badly by liberal democratic piety that they can't do anything to stop it. And the active role is being played by the immigrants themselves and the people smugglers. No. This is the industrialized movement of people organized from the top down. And I don't know what Jesus would have said. I'm no longer a Christian believer. I'm not as I explained before, I wouldn't call myself an atheist, but I'm not a Christian believer. But would Jesus really have said, "Oh, you just got to let them do this to you"? I don't think so. Hello, Red Snapper. Welcome. Thank you for all your comments. Red Snapper has been a very, very prolific commenter, actually. Still loving Trump, Ben, says 69 Phuket. Yes. And if you think I'm wrong, I mean, this is, again, the backslappers will hate me for this. But, you know, I've expressed my opinions on Trump quite unequivocally. See how we're living. What would Jesus do? I don't know. I know a lot of Christians who like agree with me on the immigration issue. I mean, just because the Pope says one thing doesn't mean that, you know, the Pope is not Jesus. The Pope just has an idea based on his own study of the Bible and his own prayer and meditation of what he thinks Jesus would do. Okay. For those of you who have arrived lately, I'll just show this again because it's so funny. A bunch of guys go into a building and white smoke starts coming out of it. That's why they lock the door, you see. That's why they lock the door. Yeah. 69 Phuket. Could you remind us, Ben, about what 69 Phuket? Sorry, let's scroll up a little bit. Where was it? You should investigate that. Winged malevolent being. Sorry, I'm just going. Could you remind me of what? Are you Red Snapper? Are you a militant agnostic, Ben? That reminds me of a weed. I just showed it to you. Yeah, I just showed it to you. It's like Rin Mikhailis, you know, she's a radical centrist. Oh, Trump, you right? Yes, I'm still a Trump fan. I believe he's a, you know, you may have seen some of his 100-day videos. He's done pretty much what he promised. Doesn't mean he's perfect. Doesn't mean he's you know, he's not going to make mistakes and he's not going to cock up. He doesn't mean his is not the only force at work. He has to fight the bad guys, and it's not going to be easy for him. But I stand by what I said at the election and the inauguration. Feel no reason to change my mind yet. Hope you're okay with the comments. Don't want to make too many. Oh, the more the better. More the better. Oh, Phuket, I don't agree with you. Oh, blimey. I'm not going to get into a debate with Trump about a Trump debate tonight, mate, but I don't agree with you. I think he's the opposite. I think, if anything, he'll save us. Now, I watched an interview with a guy called Cardinal Dolan. I don't know if he's any relation to Richard, but he was talking about the Pope, and he seems a nice guy. Cardinal Dolan interview. He's the what is he? Let me just find was the video I was watching earlier. We'll watch a bit of this. I think is he the Bishop of New York or something?
You're going to wear that. I thought it.
Can you see this? You should be able to. Yeah. Just wait for the answer to clear.
And the rest is in Italian.
Oh, this is the one I saw.
Cardinal Timothy
This is funny. No, this is right.
The Cardinals a short time ago this morning.
This is pretty good.
Not just with me, but with all of us.
There he is. That's him when he did his first mass. He's just done his first mass as Pope.
We are back with Pope Leo there addressing the College of Cardinals a short time.
Look, right, in a minute, you'll see some people outside the window stop and stare in. I think those are real windows. That's not just like green screen. They've got real windows behind them in this studio. It's really funny.
Ago this morning during his very first mass as the new leader of the Catholic Church.
Well, we have one of those cardinal electors with us now, Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York. Cardinal Dolan, good morning. I don't know how much you can tell me about what went on behind those closed doors, but people were just surprised and shocked. Were you surprised by this result?
Everyone does that, don't they? When there's a TV camera around, they sort of stand at the back and they go.
Savannah and Craig, thanks for the invite. I missed you. I missed the Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I think he's he's head of the, I don't know what it is, New York or something.
For me, when I was in before the conclave. And tell Al that we've got a beautiful sunny day here in Rome.
He's quite a nice guy. I mean, he seems like quite a nice, likable chap. I don't know if he's any relation to Richard. If so, then he hasn't. If he's any relation, he certainly hasn't inherited Richard's rather obnoxious personality. Anyway, I'll just go through these things. Pooja Pants. I've just subscribed. Thank you, Pooja Pants. Welcome to the wacky, wonderful world of Hapanwo TV. All right, what's next? Right. Now then, this book. Now I don't have it because I've lent it to someone else, but I do recommend this book. This is a book I do recommend this book. It's really good. I mean, I've written a review of it on Hapanwo Voice. There we go. The Third Secret by Steve Berry. Because it's all about this whole thing, the prophecy, the popes, the Vatican, the conclaves and things like that. And I actually did let me just find the review I did. Let me go scroll down. Where is it? There we go, The Third Secret. This is my review of it on Hapanwo Voice. But do please read this book. It's very topical with the Pope and the prophecy of the popes, which of course has been disproved. But it deals with the secrets. It's about Marian apparitions and the secrets of Fatima. Because I mean, I can't go into that in detail now. But you know, sightings of the Virgin Mary are very, very interesting. This is something. I mean, I did enjoy her speech at Rawcon. Alison Dunlop, as you know, I don't get on with her. I've fallen out with her. But you know, she did a very interesting speech at Rawcon about Marian apparitions. And you know, the Our Lady of Lourdes, Our Lady of Medjugorje, Our Lady of Fatima, and very often what happens is the Virgin Mary will appear very often to small children, young children, or teenagers, and she will like give them secrets. And the idea is what these secrets are. Basically, the third secret of Fatima. This is from this sighting in 1917. I'd say that the Our Lady of Fatima is actually the most interesting of the Marian apparitions because they were independent witnesses to the whole. There was a miracle. It's called the miracle of the sun. There was actually thousands of independent witnesses to that, and that Our Lady of Fatima gave these children a series of secrets and told them they should only reveal them at the right time. And the third secret was apparently revealed in, I think it was 2000 by Pope John Paul II. But there's always been this suspicion that it wasn't the real secret. And the real secret is kept in the Vatican Library in this place called the Reserva, which is like a secret vault. Yeah. 69 Phuket. He's from darkest Peru and he ate marmalade sandwiches. Yes. That's interesting, isn't it? I wonder if Paddington and the Pope now have something in common, don't they? They're both from Peru. And that is the end of my notes. So does anyone else want to add anything? We're going nearly 2 hours. It's quite a what's the word? It's been quite a marathon. Not even a marathon, maybe even a Mars bar. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. But I appreciate all the comments you've left for me. I really, really do. They've been cool. Phuket says, "Get stuffed." Who are you talking to? Oh, not me. Are you talking to me? It's all about Trump, is it? Oh man. Phuket, if you want to debate about it, you can put comments under the video. I'll address them in the next reply to comments video. Pooja Pants. Pooja. I think I'll get your name, Pooja Pants. What is a Mars bar? Jokes are funnier when I don't have to explain them. A marathon. Oh, I'm showing my age. Snickers used to be called Marathon, remember? I can't wait 6 hours. Oh, man. Phuket, you know that I put timestamps on things. Neil Peel. Oh, no worries, Neil. I mean, I know we did talk about this and you couldn't watch, but yeah, it'll be on replay. And I'll see you tomorrow. Neil and I, and we're going to meet up for a little. We're going to have a little secret meeting somewhere to talk about serious stuff. So I'll see you tomorrow, Neil. Yeah. Yeah, it's a joke, Pooja Pants, based on the old name for the Snickers bar. Right. If I think the comments seem to have dried up now. We've still got 33 people watching. The same number of days that John Paul I was Pope, which is very kind of, maybe it's a good time to quit, isn't it? Quit while we're on 33. That famous. I will bring the foil, Ben. Good on you. I'll bring the dog whistle UFO summoning device. Now says, do you remember this silly Neues Rathaus business that flooded the basement in that town hall in Germany? No, I don't. I know that Rathaus means it doesn't mean a rat house. It means town hall in German. But what's that about now? I don't know. Gary said, I once had a vision of the Virgin Mary on a plane. Really? Right. Some people often claim to have personal visions of Mary. I mean, the Marian apparitions are when they're persistent and they're recurring. They're persistent, they recur, and people see usually very usually devout Catholics, usually quite young, teenagers or younger. Dave Bell says, have you seen the work by Dan Gola that's about matrix codes seen through a laser beam? No, but I find that sort of thing very interesting. Arch Channel, what about the prophecy of Fatima? Well, I can't. I'd have to make another 2-hour video about that. But the book you want to read is that one of just the third secret. Yeah. Oh, you were on a plane from Houston to Del Rio, Texas. Oh, blimey. I'll talk to you about that tomorrow, Gary. Now says, with the goat-headed man on the throne, the divers discovered. Oh, yeah, I can't remember now. Yeah, that's right. They went down there and there was weird stuff in the basement. Yeah, it looks like it was some kind of satanic temple underneath this town hall. Pooja Pants says, will we ever get an alien pope? What makes you think we haven't already had one, Pooja Pants? Maybe the real reason they locked the door in the Sistine Chapel during the conclave is because that's when they all have to shapeshift. Yeah. Arch Channel says, someone, all right, could this Russian space crash cause something bigger? Well, it's hard to see how. I mean, if it lands in a populated area, it could do some serious damage. Yeah, it could really do some serious damage. But it doesn't have it's not like some of these things the Soviets used to launch with nuclear reactors on them. There was this. Do you remember one of their space stations had like a nuclear reactor on board, and when it was going to come down, they were really worried, and there was like this diplomatic incident, and the Americans were writing and saying, look, you can't just let this thing fall out of the sky. You've got to deorbit it in a controlled manner so it doesn't land in a populated area. Make sure it lands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or something. Otherwise, you're going to end up with like plutonium vapor everywhere. Alien Pooja says, Alien Pope needs to save us all. Come in peace. Yes. Vaping cat. If the Cardinal shapeshift, Cardinal Walecki is doing a lousy job because that man looks strange as hell already. Yeah. Some of them never go back to their human form. Pope Benedict XVI was one of them because he really was ugly, wasn't he? I mean, he looked, well, he's still alive, he's really old, but he's still alive, apparently. He looked like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars. Remember the memes? Are the alien greys the Watchers? The Watchers are the Archons, aren't they? I think that's slightly different. Right. I knew what you meant, Pooja. I knew what you meant. So, is Benedict XVI dead? Vaping says he is indeed. Has he died? Let's have a look. I'll go for the popes. Pope Benedict XVI. Let's have a look. Oh, yes, he is. Died 31st of December, 2022, age 95. You're right. He is dead. Right. Well, I'm not sorry to be. I'm not sorry to be proved wrong on that particular issue. I'm not going to weep for him. Oh, right. See How We're Living. Mandela effect. Yeah. Oh, you know what? See How We're Living. It might be exactly that. Because I actually remember a couple of days I was watching a news story about the Pope, and someone said he was still alive, and they were expressing kind of like wonder that the guy this abdicated Pope was still alive. Yeah, I don't remember him dying. This is literally like Nelson Mandela, because this is how the effect got its name, because people remembered Nelson Mandela dying in the 80s in jail. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. See How We're Living. I had another one the other day. I'll write an article about this other Mandela effect I had. It's really remarkable. 69 Phuket, Pope nodding car ornaments. Oh, it's like, it was really weird, but they did have like ones of John Paul II going like that. And they were banned actually from the Vatican because they were considered distasteful. All right. Do you mind if we call it a night now, guys? Got a busy day tomorrow. I'm having this urgent secret seminar with my friends Neil and Gary. Can't tell you where it is because it's private. We're having a private meeting to discuss how we're going to leak the UFO footage that was sent to us secretly by an insider. Oh, Pooja says, great song about the Pope called He's the Groove by Yosari Baby. All right. You're excused. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking part in this live stream. Red Snapper, 69 Phuket, Pooja Pants, Arts Channel, See How We Are Living, Vaping Cat, Gary Robinson, Now, Neil Peel, Dave Bell, who else? Dennis Carr, Tina Silva, Aeonic Arc, and anyone. If I've missed any, and Sovereign, thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, See How We Are Living. Night, 69 Phuket. Night, Rhiannon Raven. Thank you, Rhiannon, as well. Yeah, the Council of Three. We're meeting in secret. That's right. Dave Bell, thank you. See How We Are Living. Night, all of you guys. It's been a good live stream. I'll upload this to the alt tech as soon as possible, but it's really annoying because about one time in 10 it processes immediately, but all other times it can take hours to process. It's usually the following afternoon. In this particular case, I probably won't be able to do the alt tech versions of this video probably actually until maybe I might be able to do it tomorrow night late, but it's likely to be sometime on Monday. So it's because I'm away all tomorrow. But thank you all of you for watching Hapanwo TV, and God bless the Pope, depending on what he's done and what he does. I don't really have any opinions on him. I don't know enough to have any opinions on him, except to say it's worth covering this event for Hapanwo TV. And if there are any updates, of course, there will be another video. Now, lots coming up. As you know, I'm going to be away for St. Theo's Day again. So I'll be doing something new. It's a St. Theo's Day watch party. So we're going to watch we're going to get together and watch a movie like we always do for watch parties, except this one will have a distinct hospital portraying theme to it. And I want to make this a regular thing, especially because I feel bad being, well, I don't feel bad because I'm going to contact in the desert. But, I think to myself, I'm not often away for St. Theo's Day. It's just bad timing. You know what I mean? Anyway, my friends, hospital port as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Thank you for watching Hapanwo TV yet again.